So Banjo-Kazooie has been a really, really popular suggestion. Like I said, on our poll, it's number one. People have been so hyped now that Phil Spencer said it would be cool, there would be no licensing trouble. And obviously, Banjo and Kazooie are such perfect fits for the rest of the Nintendo cast. The question is whether they're still likely. You know, before Phil Spencer said this stuff, people, it seemed, really wanted Banjo-Kazooie, but it kind of sheltered their hopes deep down, locked in these dungeons of emotion. Never seeing the light of day, because Banjo and Kazooie were a Microsoft character, and there's no way that Microsoft would let their character into Smash. But Phil Spencer said this stuff, those dungeon emotions have been unleashed, and there's a real, like, hype train for Banjo-Kazooie and Smash, and I think it's worth asking the question, is it likely? Obviously, it would be fantastic, but is it likely?
I think it's possible, but I don't think it's likely. Like you said earlier, a big focus for which characters Nintendo chooses to put in, it seems to be that a big focus is on what's relevant right now, you know, what they can do, what characters they can put in that relate to current brands. And it's just been so long since Banjo-Kazooie was a Nintendo IP that I don't necessarily see them doing it. And I also don't think it really... It would help Microsoft maybe more than it would help Nintendo to include them. So including them would pretty much just be a favor to fans, and it would be a pretty awesome favor. And there is a lot of support for it, but I don't know if it's enough support that it would really warrant Nintendo actually doing it.
Right. So I mean, there's this aspect that they are including characters that help cross promote other brands. And like you said, I think really the only benefit that Nintendo would get out of that deal is sales on the Banjo-Kazooie DLC. Now, Banjo-Kazooie DLC would probably be the best-selling of all the DLC. It would probably make a lot of money for Nintendo, but it would end there. They wouldn't really have that cross-promotion aspect anymore, and like you said, it would be sort of more of a favor to Microsoft. So that's, I think, what's barring them from Nintendo wanting to do it. Now, what I think could be really interesting, and it's never going to happen, but is... if Nintendo and Microsoft worked out a sort of deal where maybe they could release Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie on the Virtual Console for Wii U, or maybe even go into some sort of publishing or licensing agreement, because, let's face it, Banjo and Kazooie on Xbox is a mutually detrimental relationship, because Banjo fans are all on Nintendo platforms, and Xbox fans couldn't care less about Banjo-Kazooie. So the franchise is losing out as a result, and Xbox isn't getting any of the new consumers that it hopes to get through Banjo-Kazooie, because it's so greatly conflicting with the rest of the Xbox identity.
Yeah, you kind of arrived where I was heading myself. I think that something like that, where they have that kind of agreement that Banjo-Kazooie is going to be a franchise that touches Nintendo platforms and not just Xbox, that would have to be in place before you'd see Banjo-Kazooie hit Smash Bros. And I don't think it's likely. I think it would be very healthy for Banjo-Kazooie and for Microsoft even.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that would benefit Microsoft more than keeping Banjo-Kazooie exclusive to.
Well, I mean,
Xbox
and they're not keeping a lot of their games Xbox exclusive at this point. They're putting a lot of them on Windows, so it's not even like.
Well, I mean, that's also Microsoft,
but they don't.
Though.
It's not really their platform, in the sense that they don't make any revenue. They don't make any royalties off of game sales on on Windows. Not that they make royalties off first party titles anyway, but it's not the same kind of platform as Xbox. They're certainly not, contributing to the popularity of Xbox by releasing something on Windows.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it seems like Banjo and Kazooie would be fantastic by every measure, a perfect fit for Smash. But I think we agree that Nintendo probably wouldn't really be interested.
I could see Nintendo saying something like, "We already have Duck Hunt. We don't need another character that's a bird and a furry creature."
Another furry in Smash. Hello everybody, thank you for listening to this Nintendo Week clip, NWC. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to us here on YouTube for more highlights and discussion videos from Nintendo Week podcast, or subscribe to us on iTunes for weekly breakdowns of all your Nintendo news, discussion segments on subjects, games, and more, and tons of other features. Thanks for listening, and we will see you tomorrow with another NWC.